So we are standing here in the kitchen of our Modern Sunset project, and in this video today, we're going to be speaking about the masonry. Why did we go with full grout masonry solid walls as the structural component of this house? Now as we're standing in the great room, you can see behind me, we have this fully grouted masonry wall. This is CMU, concrete masonry units, right? And these were all installed, filled with rebar, filled with grout, or essentially concrete to make them solid. We have this on all the exterior walls. So this house is really 4 sections. We have the guest corridor, and there's multiple bedroom en suites there. This is the main structure. So this is the living area. We have laundry room, powder bathroom, kitchen, great room, garage. Of course, we have exterior masonry walls. And then we have the primary suite here on this side connected by a glass gallery, which we'll speak about in an upcoming video. But that also has the masonry solid grouted walls. And the whole reason being, as you're looking at this structure in modern construction, the whole design intent and work with engineers, we're dealing with shear, right? And we're dealing with wind, and we're dealing with microbursts, which is a term due to the haboobs, which Google those if you want to see what a haboob is. You see them maybe in the Mummy. You'll see them here in Arizona, especially in the summers, the monsoons roll in, and you essentially have this wall of dust coming in. And so working through that structure, especially on a hillside, modern architecture, this was a big component to have big open areas, right? And that's the modern design. In our previous video, we spoke about the butterfly roof, and really to create this open structure with a big butterfly roof, with big openings, with not a lot of structural components in the way, beams, posts, taking up the middle of the room. The masonry gives us that strength, that solid grounded masonry wall. And so whenever we're doing these modern designs, you're gonna have this structural component to work with shear, to work with structure, to keep the house from moving. And really that shear means that it's not sliding back and forth. So as we come out here now, we can have these big spans. We have 55-foot span of structural steel. So with the structural steel, the masonry, now the entire truss system can sit on top of that. Keep that open floor plan, which is essential for the views that we have out here on the backyard, that indoor-outdoor living as these sliders are opened up. We have the tall cantilever deck, and now we can come out and enjoy this patio, the negative edge pool. And again, this gives us that structure, and you can see here that we furred out the walls, and the reason we do that is because we still keep the structural integrity of the exterior wall. But for example, this is the kitchen wall, we have plumbing, and so plumbing, electrical now does not interfere with the exterior wall. We can fur that out, still run everything we need to from a mechanical side, and not impact the structural integrity of that masonry wall. So now we're on the back side of the home. You can see here we have 3 detached structures. And so this gives you a really good view of this V we created here that's created by this glass hallway. We're gonna speak about that glass gallery in a minute. But the only thing connecting is the glass gallery and then our ceiling trusses here on this single story. So because of the single story home, we have 3 separate buildings. This gives you a good view of this masonry. We have these concrete masonry units that are set directly on the footing. And so especially with cost of construction, you think about cost of lumber, which we're all dealing with, right? These CMU, this 8x8 by 16 concrete block, these are typically installed in 4 to 6 foot lifts in Scottsdale, which essentially means we have the footing and we'll go 4 or 5, 6 feet tall. We have rebar installed in between, vertical and horizontal rebar that's installed. That gets inspected. Once they inspect the rebar, they inspect the masonry. We can do what's called solid grout, which means we now schedule our concrete. Concrete truck comes, we pour the concrete, and you have to what's really important is that keyhole. And what that means is, if we've done the first lift to here, you don't want to pour concrete all the way to the top, right? Because you essentially create a joint here. And so this keyway, we typically, when we're pouring, we'll pour the concrete to this level, to about halfway through. And then we'll have rebar sticking up. So now as you're working on your next lift, and you pour concrete, that fresh concrete comes down to the middle, and that really ties these next blocks up to this existing one. So it's really key that you're not pouring the grout all the way to the top of the brick. So as you're working through lifts, make sure that you leave that keyway there so that it really interlocks the concrete and the masonry. That's what we've done here, and you can see this is super secure and solid. And now it creates any issue of wind or shear. It creates a structural integrity where now we can have these separate buildings, which is still part of the main house, keeps it single story, keeps amazing views all the way around, not just in each bedroom. You know, it's had these big spans, but also, as you can see here, essentially a little living atrium or courtyard, even though it's not internal, but on the exterior side, which now you can stand in that gallery as you walk into your room and have this beautiful view due to that masonry.